Hi guys, I'm going to talk about my learnings about the pilot ladder. First, what is a pilot ladder? The pilot ladder is a special type of rope ladder used on board ships for embarkations and disembarkations of maritime pilots. It is one of the very first things which will give an impression to the pilot about the crew and the master on board, an extremely important thing to consider for the ship's crew. Here are some few tips and few things to remember while rigging a pilot ladder. First, the steps of the pilot ladder are generally made of hardwood and should be made in one piece, free of knots or any irregularities. It should be free of any sharp edges. Next, the steps should be horizontal and should rest firmly against the ship's side. The last four steps of the pilot ladder should be made of rubber, as they are vulnerable to failure of being squeezed between the ship's side and the pilot boat. And the fifth step of the bottom must be the spreader. The spreader prevents the pilot ladder from twisting. It should be minimum of 180 centimeters long, and a maximum of 9 steps are allowed between two spreaders. The surface of the steps must provide a safe and slip-resistant foothold. Use of ordinary paints resulting in slippery surfaces should be prohibited. Two continuous sides of the rope of a minimum of 18 millimeters in diameter should run on either side of the ladder. These are Manila ropes. The gap between the side ropes should not be less than 40 centimeters. The steps should be 115 millimeters wide and 25 millimeters in depth. The steps are equally spaced and the distance between each step should not be more than 35 or less than 31 centimeters. The pilot ladder should be permanently marked at regular intervals so that it can be rigged the required height without any difficulties. Two-man ropes should be kept at hand and ready for intermediate use. The diameter of the man rope should not be less than 28 millimeters. It is used for the request of the pilots. The distance between the sea level and the lower end of the pilot ladder depends on the size of the boat being used by the pilot. This is decided by the pilot. The officer in charge should confirm beforehand rigging the pilot ladder. In no case shall the lower end of the pilot ladder become awash in the water. The head of the pilot ladder should be rigidly secured to the deck. Adequate handholds and should be provided ensure safe and convenient passage for the head of the pilot ladder and the ship's deck. These handholds should be maximum of 70 centimeters and a maximum of 80 centimeters apart.